think it's very fair, really. Jimmy played tremendous the last 3 games, never really got a chance. So 8 each is all to play for going into the match for the final sessions.
I think it's going to be a cracking game of snooker the last 2 sessions. You know, I think we played well in spasms, both of us, but I think we're going to get better.
Good afternoon from the arena, and if it does get better, we're in for a real treat today. Welcome to part 2 of this epic final. John Parrott and Jimmy White locked in combat at 8 frames all, and providing us with so many twists and turns yesterday that the outcome is impossible to predict. 2 more sessions, the best of 35 frames, for the Everest World Matchplay Trophy and £100,000. 8 frames this afternoon, the climax tonight. So let's bring on the marathon men. He's number 1 at the box office, number 4 in the world. He's graced every major final in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, the whirlwind, Jimmy White. And making his 2nd successive appearance in this final, the current world number 2 from Liverpool, will you welcome John Parrott. And waiting to describe the first frame of the final day, our commentators John Pullman and Rex Williams. The 17th frame, Jimmy White to break.
So a slight delay while John Parrott had a nosebleed attended to. And it's 8 frames all, and Jimmy White to break in the 17th frame.
And the players unable to take the cue ball down to the balk end of the tail because of the red line down there, so forced into keep on bringing it towards the top cushion. The first player that gets it really tight may get the other player in real trouble. And John Parrott won't be too happy with that. Jimmy can't. I think he may just get through to a red in the centre, but he can certainly get the cue ball back to the top cushion and put him in trouble.
a possible long red here for Jimmy, but it looks pretty straight, so it won't be too easy to get the cue ball away anywhere.
1.
And once again, looks as if he'll have to settle for the cue ball on the top cushion to get safe.
Back ball.
Cushion fastened in behind the black, I would think.
1. Jimmy White.
And that was a cracking red there that Jimmy White potted. It certainly wasn't easy to cut it and hold the cue ball like he did.
9.
So he's carved a very good opening here for himself.
$16. 17. 24. 25. 32. 33.
1 just to the right of the bunch will go, and no doubt Jimmy will try and clear all these open reds before attempting to disturb
41.
the 5 reds which are grouped together. In fact, as the
48.
one at the back of the pack will go also. So he can
49.
get himself into a winning position in this frame without having to try and disturb anything. That puts him 52 points in front.
51. 52. 59. 60.
65.
Well, John Parrott there, who had to go off after being
66.
introduced for attention to a nosebleed, obviously a little bit unsettling. And once again, they break beautifully for Jimmy.
73.
That's red into the corner, which opens up the other two.
74.
So this first frame well and truly won. 75 points in front now.
$81.
And Jimmy's best performance of the match so far. He
82.
won the last 3 frames of yesterday evening's session. So he's gone from 8-5 down to
89.
9-8 in front.
$90.
So for the very first time in this match, Jimmy White is 1 frame in front. He'd never been in front before.
$97.
And the highest break of the tournament so far is held by
98.
Stephen Hendry with a break of 129. And it's possible for Jimmy to beat that. The green is a little awkward. He's just sizing that up now to see whether it will pass the pink into the corner pocket. If it does, he's got a very good chance of making the highest break of the tournament now.
103.
Can just
105.
beat it by 1 point if he... Oh, sorry, my arithmetic's a little bit astray. Can beat it by 3 points. Can get 132 here.
108.
No, in fact, you were right the first time, John. 22 left on the table. He can make 130.
112.
Of course, he's got to get really good position on the pink. A lot of distance for the cue ball to travel to get back onto the black. Didn't want to go through too far with this.
117.
Want to go a little bit further than that. So this is the shot that counts.
Yeah.
Well, didn't manage to capture the highest break of the tournament, but certainly enough to win the frame. So, as I said before, Jimmy White 1 frame in front now. 9 frames to 8.
Looks pleased with himself, doesn't he? With some justification. Immediately into his stride. And that means he's won the last 4 frames because he was 8-5 down, remember, at one stage last night. And he takes the lead for the first time in the match. The unknown factor, of course, is that nosebleed to John Parrott. In fact, he had to leave the auditorium for 10 minutes before the match had even begun. He's had 1 or 2 headaches this week, he says. He thinks it might be the central heating in his hotel room. There he goes. And his new wife of 6 months, Karen, up there in the back of the stand looking a little concerned. But I'm happy to report nothing serious. The big question is, Dennis Taylor, how much that might have unsettled him.
Yeah, well, before a final like this, in the dressing room, he'd have been psyching himself up for the match.
Yes.
And just as he's about to be introduced, it happened. So really, it gives you something else to think about. So probably it distracted and disturbed his concentration. But
actually, we noticed earlier, didn't before that, as Jimmy came on,
yeah,
he was talking to John Parrott about something.
But having said that, he didn't do anything wrong, really, because Jimmy made a superb break there. So I think a couple of frames and he'll settle back and forget about the nosebleed and carry on with his game. I'll tell you what I was saying to Stephen Hendry here. It's a good thing he wasn't playing Ray Reardon, because Ray's known as Count Dracula, and with all that blood around, he'd have went berserk, so he went.
Well, you've introduced Stephen Hendry before I could do it, who's with us this afternoon, no doubt thinking he should be in that final, but this is second best Stephen to be here. You're obviously rooting for John Parrott because he's from the same tribe as you, but you think Jimmy White might just do it?
Well, I said after Jimmy being 8-5 down and bringing it back to 8-all last night, I thought he would have come out strong today, and he has done. So we'll just need to wait and see. But obviously, I'd like John to win for the Q Masters sort of stable.
He's very fired up after beating you, of course, and he said that victory taught him an awful lot. You know, he was 5-0 down and he still beat you, and he realised that you don't have to panic while you're sitting out and you can't get to the table. You just wait for your moment and then you move in.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing with long matches. It's never over. I mean, if one player gets a sort of short burst in a best-of-9 match, then it's usually over. But being 5-0 in front, I knew it wasn't over, but I sort of relaxed a bit.
Yeah.
So I learned from the match as well.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. 9-8 it is then to Jimmy White, and we'll have the second frame of the day, frame 18.
The 18th frame, John Parrott to break.
Not a particularly good break from John Parrott there. The 18th frame of the match, near enough halfway. Best of 35. And an excellent shot again there from Jimmy. Pushing into the red that was close to the black and clearing it. He's playing very confidently at the moment. I could have done with a little more pace on that one. Well, it's all coming good.
9.
Absolutely perfect position on the pink.
What a tremendous red that
15.
was to get the power in the cue ball to really plough through the reds. And that one gave itself up.
16.
And Jimmy will be very pleased with the start that he's made, a break of 117 in the first frame.
Twenty-three. 24. 30. 31. 37. 38. 44.
And another good shot there from Jimmy. And that's really opened the reds now.
45.
I think every red will go without having to disturb anything.
$51. 52. 59.
Well, the break goes to 59, and that's how many points Jimmy is in front in this frame. John Parrott yet to score.
$59, Jimmy White.
So that's the first real chance that John Parrott's had this afternoon so far.
One. Four. Five. Eight.
Well, attempted to go into the three reds there, but missed them by quite a bit, so forced into playing the safety stroke now, with the red that he can pot.
8, John Parrott.
I think John can clip the red, which is to the right of the group of three around the pink. It's going to be a very thin contact, but he can just get to that one. In fact, he could get to the other side. It certainly didn't look as though he could from our commentator position, but he got it a little bit too thick, and I don't think he expected that red to come back to the centre pocket.
One.
So that puts Jimmy 52 points in front. Still a possible 59 on the table, so he needs to be very careful here.
One.
And good shot there. Not only snookering John Parrott, but also putting the yellow into a more awkward position, which of course, with the scores they are, is in Jimmy's favour.
Should have made sure of the frame there.
Yes, Jimmy, a little fortunate that he hadn't left something a little more easier than he has done.
One. Six.
Now John Parrott now, requiring snookers.
6, Jimmy White. One.
2 snookers required now by John Parrott. And no doubt he'll try and pot this red and get a colour,
8.
and try and get a snooker with the final red on the table. Decided not to risk this one. Playing the snooker now. He wanted...
8, John Parrott.
The reason he refused that pot, he couldn't get onto the black. And he needs the black. And then 2 snookers. So a chance here for John Parrott to take one of these final reds, and you want to get a high colour. Coming down for the black, that's a nice little snick on the blue. And he won't pop the final red, he'll try and get snookers then, because always an opportunity of getting a free ball. And of course, if he could get a snooker and then a free ball,
8.
always a possibility of taking the colour, which becomes a red and another black. Certainly get a good snooker here behind the yellow.
8, John Parrott.
Won't be too happy with that shot. Should have got Jimmy stone dead behind the yellow there. Ball's quite well placed for snookers. 42 points in front. Jimmy is at the moment. Possible 35 on the table. Jimmy quite happy there to leave that red near the pocket. John Parrott doesn't want to pot this red. Just checking the scores there. But he needs 2 snookers.
Frame conceded. Frame.
John Parrott concedes. Jimmy White now 2 frames in front at 10 frames to 8.
And what a turnaround that is. Poor old John Parrott not only gets a nosebleed, but finds himself all of a sudden 2 frames down. He did have a chance, though, Dennis, to win that.
Yeah, he needed 2 snookers, but the balls were still in perfect position there, and he played an absolutely cracking pot on the black to get onto the last red, and he made a little bit of a blunder.
We'll have a look at that last red. Jimmy had made a break of 59.
That's right.
More or less to secure that frame, but this was John Parrott's chance. He needed 2 snookers, as you say.
Yeah, as I said, the balls were in perfect positions, but he's plotted the black and got down there now. 9 times out of 10, he took Jimmy right up tight against the yellow.
John Parrott.
And he's put the white in the only position there that Jimmy can get through to the red, so he would have been a bit disappointed with that.
Stephen, what do you think is going through John Parrott's mind at the moment, knowing him as well as you do?
I don't think he'll be panicking or anything like that yet. Still a long way to go in this match, no. But certainly you don't like to lose the first 2 frames. No matter how many frames you're playing in a match, you always like to win one of the first 2 to settle yourself down.
Yes.
So he'll need to win the next one, I would think.
Well, he'll certainly be thinking that to himself, Dennis, won't he? But he also knows that Jimmy has been playing well, and while Jimmy's been at the table, it doesn't matter how good you are, you can't do much about it.
That's right, the way both players are playing. We were talking before the tournament that they were both struggling with their game, and I mentioned if one of them gets 1 or 2 wins, they'd be right back to their best form, and it's proved that they're in the final, and what an absolutely cracking final we're still going to have, because I think it's going to go right to the death.
Symptomatic of this whole tournament, really, that you can never really predict anything, even in your game as well. People get ahead and then that lead gets hauled back and somebody overtakes. And
the best of 17, it's great because you know you can have a bad session and still come back. If you're playing the best of 9, a little bit of bad luck and you're gone. 5 frames. If you're playing someone like Stephen Hendry here, 5 frames can be over in 40 minutes.
You know all about that, don't you, from the World Championship? 8-0 down you were, weren't you, in the final?
You've got to stick in anything. Snooker's a game. If you're on the table, your opponent can't do anything about it. He's got to sit and watch you.
OK, there we go then. It's 10-8 to John Parrott, and we'll have the next frame, the 20th or the 3rd of the afternoon, right after the break.
The 19th frame. Jimmy White to break.
So Jimmy White quite happy to be 2 frames in front, I'm sure. He's won, in fact, the last 5 frames in this match, leading 10 frames to 8 now. And it's the first player to 18 frames who picks up that wonderful £100,000 first prize.
Fair bit of risk with this shot. Great shot. He can just get through to the black. He knew that if he missed that shot, there was every chance he would leave something.
John Parrott.
Jimmy a little bit weighty there. The ball coming halfway up the table again.
And just a little bit too thin on the contact there, but he was trying to making too thick a contact. Could easily have pushed another red over the pocket. That's what he was afraid of. And this looks a fair safety shot here from John Parrott. Hasn't had very much chance in today's session so far.
Here's an opportunity. It just seems to have gone off the ball at the moment. A couple of shots that he usually tucks away without any problem that he's missed in this frame. Oh, getting a little bit scrappy, this one. What can John Parrott make of this opportunity?
One.
And just needs to knock a few balls in to regain his confidence. He's missed one or two now that he normally gets without any problem at all.
8.
And he's got to take the cue ball in and out of bulk here after potting the blue. So he's got to get it through the bulk colours.
$13. John Parrott.
Now there's one that's gone astray. What damage has been done?
One. Three. Four.
And a little bit short of pace with that one. Can still pot the pink, but cue ball will be going away from the reds.
Ten. $11.
That's a bit better position.
He would like to get the red, which is by the pink, out of the way. And he held the spot there to do that.
$17.
I think he went through just fractionally more than he intended to. He wanted to get that red out of the way and then get onto the pink and get the pink back onto its spot again. But just left himself a little more to do than he wanted to.
$18.
Well, can only play one shot from there.
18. Jimmy White. One. Five.
And a little bit unlucky there. Hasn't dropped onto a red. We'll be playing the safety shot.
5. Jimmy White.
Yeah, a little bit too thick a contact there from John, but it nearly worked in his favour. Red almost dropped into the middle pocket.
And as long as the cue ball is over towards the left-hand side of the table, neither player can pop that red which is hanging on the jaw of the pocket. And John will be trying to get the cue ball down that corner again. Well, that was what he was attempting, but he didn't make a very good effort there. Disgusted with himself.
1.
So that puts Jimmy 10 points in front.
Six. Seven. Twelve. 13.
The lead stretches to 29 points
20.
now, and still another red and colour on. Now the red's getting a little more difficult. They're always a little bit tricky along the cushion.
28. 29.
And may have just the right angle to tickle into the two reds that are on the side cushion.
And John Parrott now requiring a snooker. I think he requires a little more than a snooker now in this frame.
$43. And the frame.
Frames conceded and winning 6 frames on the trot. Jimmy White now 3 in front, leading by 11 frames to 8.
Yes, and Jimmy purring along nicely now and has the luxury of a 3-frame lead at 11-8 there, and a 3-frame lead is something that only John Parrott experienced yesterday in the closing session. Do you see Jimmy coming back to something like his best, Stephen?
He's certainly flowing now, winning 3 frames in a row, seeing some great pots at the end there, so he's definitely in a good rhythm.
How much of it do you think is going on in the player's mind in a final like this? If you start to believe in yourself, you do play better.
Well, I think snooker's all about that having self-confidence in yourself, and certainly Jimmy now potting good balls and making breaks every time he's in will give himself a little more confidence.
You wouldn't fancy being out there against him?
No.
Don't answer
I prefer to be there than here, but...
Don't answer that. Dennis, yes, we've seen signs that Jimmy is approaching his best. There's a lovely long pink there that he potted towards the end of that frame.
That's right, and the red before, they hammered in a terrific red and then potted the super long pink. So that shows you that Jimmy's, in fact, it's coming up now. You know, never touched the sides. He didn't quite get the position, but he got the white onto the red, which is a great shot. But as I said before, it's great to see Jimmy White flowing, and there's a lot left to go yet, and John Parrott can do what he did against Stephen here and come back again.
It's a tremendous battle, actually, because it's swinging all ways, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's great to watch, you know, and most of the players are back, and I'm sure they're all enjoying watching it as well.
Jimmy said how his confidence has really been rock bottom recently after that whitewash that he experienced against Gary Wilkinson. It's hard to imagine that his confidence could be so low because he's such a easygoing sort of guy.
That's right, but it was interesting to hear that from Jimmy. It just shows that even Jimmy's human, and although he plays the game naturally, mentally it means so much. The psychology plays 70-80% in this game, because all the top players have got the same sort of ability, and it's who gets their mind right. And there's nothing as good for your confidence as winning frames and matches, and suddenly it all starts flowing again.
Yes, so all the attention focusing on Jimmy White at the moment. He's making the play this afternoon. John Parrott sitting it out a little bit. Frame 20 coming up in a moment.
The 20th frame, John Parrott's break.
So the man who must do something to stop the rock, John Parrott, breaks off in the 20th frame of the match. And that's a pretty good break, acknowledged by Jimmy White. Quite a long way out with that one.
Foul 4, John Parrott.
Just not dropping.
Looks to be pretty straight on this red, and the black won't go, so it's going to be a tremendous screw shot. He really can get some work into a ball, this young man can. In fact, he's got too much into that one, so it will be a trickle up behind brown. Wants to really try and cut off the left-hand side of the table.
1, John Parrott.
Jimmy's in a bit of trouble here.
Well, a bit awkward to stretch over the pack, but he's got a nice red on there.
1.
And just a little trickle through with the blue should leave him a red into the top right-hand pocket there.
Six. 7.
Now, as my colleague Rex Williams said a little while ago, John needs to put a few points together, restore his confidence.
14. 15. 22. 23.
And that was a useful one to get out of the way. Plenty of room now to get onto the two reds back into the same pocket. May take the middle of the reds here. Decided not to. He wants to get that one out of the way. When he's done that, a red will go into the other corner pocket. I thought he might take it on the previous shot because He had more room
38.
to work with the red that he did pot.
$39. $46.
Well, not easy to get on the black. The cue ball will be going through the pack of reds this time.
47. Green ball.
Yeah, the break goes to 50. And I'm sure John will be feeling a lot better now.
51.
And that takes him 62 points in front.
57.
So one of these reds in a reasonably high colour, and John will have stopped the rot. And of course he'll be feeling very much better. Putting a few
58.
points together, making a nice break here. Still needs another red.
$61. $62.
And this is a good
69.
performance from John Parrott.
70.
Jimmy's played very good snooker in the first 3 frames.
$77. $78. $85. 86. $93.
Gone a little bit too far there, but Stephen Hendry's highest break of 129 is still intact.
94.
John can't beat that, but he'll enjoy making the 100 break.
And although he was 3 frames behind before this, he's made 3 century breaks in this match, which is no mean performance.
102 and the frame. John Parrott.
So we've come to the interval, and the scores now: Jimmy White 11 frames, John Parrott 9.
Hey, this is not a bad session at all, is it? 2 century breaks in the first 4 frames, Dennis.
That's brilliant snooker, and we're getting a bit of everything because there's some good safety play in the matches as well.
Yeah.
And as you said, some terrific breaks. I've never seen Stephen Hendry under so much pressure here. Every time one of the players gets in, he thinks his high break prize is going. Mind you, he needs a 10,000, doesn't he, for Christmas?
That's only pocket money for you, Stephen, isn't it? 10,000. You don't know how to answer that, do you? No, John looking in good form, though, again. That's nice to see, isn't it? Because he was definitely a little bit unsettled right at the beginning.
Yeah, well, it makes for a better final, I think, if it's both players are playing well rather than it going one-sided. I think it's better for the people to watch.
How do you see it going now, then, Dennis?
Well, Jimmy's obviously got the upper hand and he's playing so well, but the interval can change everything round. That's when you sort of get yourself psyched up again. And John Parrott will be thinking, I've done it before in this tournament, I've come back against Stephen Hendry, there's no reason why I can't come back again. So that's what he'll be preparing at the moment in his dressing room.
What goes on in the interval?
Well, what
The
you do is
players
you
tend to-
sit there and one of the girls brings you down a lovely cup of tea and a few little ginger nuts, and you dip your ginger nuts into your tea. Some players might do other things, but that's what I've got the tip off Terry Griffiths. I think he started the tea drinking first of all. But you just, some players like to be on their own, some like to bring a few friends in just to keep them, but you're just mainly preparing yourself mentally to go back out again.
What would John be doing, do you think? What would he like to do? Would he be chatting with Phil Miller? Or?
I think he'll have the tea down. I think he's one of his friends in the dressing room. I prefer having someone in the dressing room because I think it helps you relax.
Yeah.
If you're in on your own, you're thinking too much. I think about what you should have done. Or so if you've got someone to talk about, I like to talk about something completely separate from snooker.
Do you?
Yeah.
Fascinating little insight, isn't it, into what goes on behind the scenes. Anyway, thank you very much indeed, gentlemen. Right, well, they've gone off for their interval now. It's 11-9, remember, to Jimmy White. And we've got the last but one session of the match, the final, which is the last big final of the 1980s, of course. It's been the decade in which Steve Davis has dominated, although the era of Stephen Hendry might be about to start, so he tells me anyway.
The 21st frame, Jimmy White to break.
Jimmy to break after the mid-session interval. Taken 6 frames on the trot before eventually John Parrott stopped the rot. Well, this little tip-tap exchange is likely to happen for quite some time until one of the players gets the red, which is the offending ball, out of the baulk area.
Foul 4, John Parrott.
The black is only potable in the right-hand corner pocket, so that's the shot I think that we'll see John attempt. Well, that's the shot that he played for, but unfortunately for him, he's just got a bit too much strength in the shot.
Green ball. 1, John Parrott.
You'll be pleased to see that cue ball get to the baulk cushion. What a difference it makes when you manage just to flick off one of the baulk colours, and it's gone in your favour.
One. Got a ball. Three. Four.
Oh, my word, he was asking a lot from that shot. Trying to develop the black. Can only play the thin run-off and back to baulk.
Four.
Not even attempted
White.
that.
This is a bit awkward for John Parrott. He can't hit the bunch of reds and play off the right-hand side of them. As you look at them, the green's covering them. That's a good shot. John Parrott can see the red at the top, and he's going to play that one, but he's got to be careful that he hits it right. It's going towards that corner pocket. So that's a mistake and a chance for Jimmy White.
One.
It looks as though the blue may just pass the green into the middle pocket. But it's obviously quite a tight fit. Jimmy coming round to have a look at both sides of the table.
Move on.
6. 7. We're into the home straight in the Everest World Matchplay Final. This afternoon, the last big game of the decade became a succession of centuries. Jimmy had the fastest start, breaking into 3 figures for the first time this week. 103. John Parrott wasn't about to be outdone. He replied with his 3rd century of the tournament. But Jimmy had got the taste, and in the next frame, there he was with another ton. 100. Good evening and welcome to the climax of this final. Now, the showdown. It's the first man to reach 18 frames who collects that trophy and the winner's cheque for £100,000. And as we've just seen, Jimmy White, who trailed 8-5 last night, had somehow transformed that into a 12-9 lead by this afternoon. So here's the very next frame. It's John Parrott at the table, trailing by 3, commentators Jim Meadowcroft and Mark Wildman.
Well, good time to pick out a plant, and a bit fortunate as well with the kiss. He's pushed the blue towards the middle pocket, should he choose to play it, and also knocked a red over the right-hand corner. Black is off its spot, but it's certainly available.
7.
And Jimmy refusing to play on the black, probably because there's a red that is very close to the black spot, so he'd like to get rid of that first. That's a bad miss.
7.
Bad
Jimmy
miss.
White.
Yeah, he's tending to run away with this match, but that's a little bit careless. Can't afford to do that.
One.
7. Eight.
That's the red. That was the problem. And it wasn't easy to hold for position on the black. He's got a little bit of working out to do now as to where he's going to be on the next red.
$23.
Well, that's all gone wrong. Just when it looked as though he was getting into some fluency, getting his confidence going a little bit.
John Parrott.
But the safety shot is pretty good. So John Parrott with the lead, 14 points. Well, you just can't expect people to knock in pots like that. Still, it's Jimmy White that's on the table. Anything can happen.
Good pot on the black, and he was expecting perhaps a little kiss on the red, just below the blue.
8.
That was a little bit chancy. Of course, when they go in, everybody tends to say, what a great shot. And when you miss it, everybody says, well, why the hell did he play it?
Yes, well, so far this afternoon, Jimmy's been playing so well, but he's been rather free and adventurous and trusting to his potting, but in this frame he's beginning to miss one or two. The last one he took on wasn't easy, but the blue he missed across the table a couple of shots ago was. From John's initial reaction, there's some doubt whether he can get through to this red into the corner. He's going to have to swerve a little bit, and this has caused him some trouble previously in this championship. Good shot. 12 in the lead. Two reds out in the open and two on the cushions. So he's got a lead of 19. We take a couple of reds and a couple of blacks
14.
before he tackles the difficult ones. He'll only need one of the reds. And that
20.
really is significant, in so much as he'll need a red and a colour now.
21.
So this black, and then one of the last two reds and a colour. And here's a little nasty if he's going to play the pot.
28.
34 points in it. Dangerous.
John Parrott.
Very dangerous shot to take on. Whether Jimmy can get at it or not, I don't quite know. Can't quite see from here. 34 points in it. 43 points on the table.
Good pot on the red, but what a help it would have been if the cue ball would have cannoned into the final red. And brought that back into play. As it is, he's on the red, but by no means easy.
7.
27 points behind at this stage.
8.
Got rid of the last red. This is the important shot, the key shot now. Black to yellow.
15. 17.
Well, certainly Jimmy in with a shout now. Blue being the only difficult ball. Needs all of the colours. Just a good shot to get onto this blue.
24.
And this one's a bit nasty. He's slightly blind on this shot, in the sense that you can't actually see the pocket. Made it look easy.
29. 35.
Big frame, the one that Jimmy White will be glad that he's got under his belt. He now extends his lead to 13 frames to 9.
Jimmy cruising now with a 4-frame lead, obviously enjoying it, fired up. What can John Parrott do about it? That's his problem. Welcome back to Brentwood, and what an astonishing contest this is. John Parrott led 8-5 at one time. Now he trails 13-9 as the whirlwind gathers momentum. John desperate for a change of fortune, and in the 23rd he's at the table, 14 behind, 1 red left.
One.
Now, round off the top cushion and the right-hand cushion to get onto that yellow, which really can only be potted into the green pocket. He's got to be on the left-hand side of the yellow as you look at it. Ooh, has he got a count on the blue here?
7.
Well, he didn't play it the way I thought he was going to play it, but even so, a little bit harder, and a cannon on the blue would have been very nice for him.
7, John Parrott.
7 points now, the difference.
Well, the expression tells you that he's very disappointed there with that little effort. And he knows that he should have won the frame there from that visit. That's a bit of a bonus for Jimmy. The yellow ball could have quite easily have been left in the right-hand corner pocket. As it is, this is a bit tricky. It was a very casual approach by John. Don't think that Jimmy can pot the yellow ball. Just content to get the cue ball at the opposite end of the table.
So near, yet so far. But it's not going to be easy for John to get onto the green. The jaws of the pocket might just get in the way of the white here, so he's got to judge that nicely.
Two.
So 5 points the difference.
Tremendous pot, just when he needed it. Little working out now, the scoreboard. And brown is all important.
Five,
to the green.
I'll
be disappointed with that shot. Jimmy White is 2 points ahead at this stage. And a big shot coming up. In fact, refused the pot because there was a chance that the cue ball could collide into pink or black.
Yes, pink and, or rather the pink ball is the key here because both players need it. Shot. Oh, the audience loved that one.
4.
How does Jimmy get onto the pink? as though he's absolutely straight on the blue. So he may not be playing to get onto the pink, which seems almost an impossibility, rather than to play for a good safety shot.
9.
And Jimmy needs the pink, and John Parrott needs pink and black.
Nine, Jimmy White.
He's sizing this up, but oh, well, this is a big shot if he takes it on. And of course, very costly should he miss it, which is the case.
Six.
Another frame to Jimmy White then, and he widens the gap and takes a 5 frames lead.
And you'd have to say a chapter of missed opportunities for poor John Parrott, who certainly doesn't seem to be getting the run of the balls either. That's to take nothing away from the performance of Jimmy White. He'd won 9 of the last 10 frames, and the last duel of the afternoon session coming next. It seems ages since Jimmy White displayed the form and the confidence which has so far overpowered John Parrott this afternoon. He says he was nearly rock bottom before this event and would have been devastated if he hadn't beaten Dean Reynolds in the semi-final. Hard to believe when you watch him now, isn't it? Well, the last frame of the afternoon session coming up now, and John Parrott knows that to pull one back before the interval would be a big psychological boost. There's no score, Parrott to play.
Another miss by John Parrott, who's having a very sad afternoon here. Is the white going to touch the black and knock it in?
Foul. 7.
The audience thought it was pretty funny. But Jimmy not exactly cracking up with laughter. So John Parrott back in again, but not really much of a potting chance this. Oh, is it that safety shot he played? He was quick into that and hit that far too thick. Or rather fine, I should say. Wanted the red back to the other end of the table. At the moment, John Parrott appears to me to be void of confidence, but that can change.
Well, that gives you some indication as to the running that John Parrott is having this afternoon. He is sticking the odd exceptionally good pot in, but he's not getting anything from it. And he's bound to be feeling just a bit despondent just now. He can see this match slipping away from him, whilst Jimmy White grows in confidence. This looks a bit better. Just catching the bump as well, the middle pocket. Nice position on the blue. But he's still got to make any game that he's going to get from this situation.
Six.
This is a bit nasty also.
Seven. Ten.
Right, I think he's nicely on the red, which should lead him on the black.
11.
And he seems to be staying fractionally longer on the shot, which incidentally is a good sign. Exaggerating the completion of the shot.
18. Nineteen.
Has the angle to break into the four reds that are tightly packed together. But whether or not he'll play it is another matter. Well, he has.
26.
Assuming now he can get to a colour from this red. Has really opened up the table.
Please don't. 27.
Desperately needs this final frame this afternoon to stay alive in the match, John. Well, you just really can't afford to miss. I'll be thoroughly disgusted with that effort. First real chance he's had for quite some time. Of course, now the pressure is on and Jimmy will have sensed that. So he'll be trying to capitalise on it.
1.
And should Jimmy win this final frame this afternoon, he's virtually home and dry.
Six. 7. 14. 15. 22. 23.
Still 12 points behind then, Jimmy, and finished rather short on the blue. Wrong side of it to come back towards the reds, and he's just helping referee John Street out by moving one or two reds into pockets that are tending to be overflowed now.
28. 29.
'Got himself in front.
36.
And every chance of winning the frame from
37.
here.
The red closest to the pink is going to be the tricky one. It's a little straight on the blue, but somewhat of an angle there, so now it's got to try and free this red that is very close to the pink.
So one more spark of hope, perhaps, for John Parrott, who so badly needs this last frame.
50. Jimmy White.
Very clear at 50, now the Londoner, putting him 15 points in the lead. Oh, what a shot.
1.
So, one last chance. Just having a look to make sure that the green goes
6.
past the brown, which I'm sure it does. Didn't take too long summing that up.
8.
No, he's just got to mind his work, and he can go in only 4 frames down. Put his feet up and come back this evening with a little bit more
11.
confidence. Just as Jimmy has had this tremendous run of frames, stretching back to the previous session, so the same can happen to John Parrott.
Well, would you believe it?
4.
He's having a bad enough time without that kind of running. And that could be so costly at this stage. Big difference between going in at the end of this afternoon's session 4 frames down. Never mind the thought of 6 frames down, but that's exactly what could happen from this situation.
4. 9.
Jimmy needing both pink and black, but it shouldn't prove to be any real problem.
50.
Well, I think we do. What a tremendous session for Jimmy White this afternoon. Disaster for John Parrott. Jimmy White leads by 15 frames to 9.